Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Tuesday, March 24, 2026. Making the headlines tonight, Belize's first Cuban medical brigade arrived May 1, 1999, almost 27 years ago. Mexican cartels halted cargo destined for Belize, and public consultation on proposed Port of Belize cargo expansion happens Thursday evening. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Explore the great outdoors with Benny's quality and savings.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP, 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank. Building the future together.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Calling. Double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my Smart plan. Want it right now.
Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, we've always proudly celebrated Women's Month. This year, we celebrate women keeping the balance at home, at work, and in their communities. That's why all March long, all women receive 15% off store-wide, from paints to plumbing and everything in between. Plus, 20 to 65% off lots more deals on sale and clearance. With trusted experience, top quality products, and service that's second to none, we're here to support women every step of the way. Visit or call us today. Happy Women's Month from all of us at Habet and Abet and Brothers Abet, doing our part to balance the scales.
Is an effort to catalog and digitize more than 30 years of Carol and Richard Foster's extraordinary wildlife footage, a visual record of Belize's wild heart that has been shared with the world through platforms like BBC and National Geographic. This exhibition brings that work to life through new short wildlife films that Carol has been working on over the past few months. Curated photographs that capture the iconic Foster perspective, and hundreds of archival recordings that are now being preserved and made accessible for the first time.
But Wild 501 is more than just an exhibition or a gallery of pretty pictures. It is a living, breathing archive. It is a monumental effort to catalog, digitize, and preserve a cinematic history that belongs to all of us. The Fosters didn't just come here to film Belize. They chose to be Belize. They made this wild landscape their home and their life's mission. As award-winning filmmakers for giants like the BBC and National Geographic, they acted as our global ambassadors.
I knew I had to do something, and I wanted to do something. And I was looking through all my slides and looking through all, and I've been doing this for like more than a year, trying to get everything in, from past to present to future. I know that was my intentions of giving back to Belize.
In a democracy, what is good for the government cannot be bad for the people. And what is good for the people cannot be bad for the government.
We came a long way. It's like over 16 years that it was basically like 2-3 houses in that area.
It was wild. One high bush like jungle. I want to take my lick. Say no water, no light. I tell her no about that. We have figured it out.
You know, you wonder when, how long it will take for this to happen.
A year ago, you were considered squatters.
We made a picado and we came in. I made a teenager. Everybody said it was swamp, it was swamp. When we get in here, it was like gold.
Today, you're landowners.
Very this that for we, and we proud of this.
Now we are claiming our house on the land.
We have worked so hard to make this happen for us.
This is a beautiful day, folks, because we are taking care of the people who have taken care of us. Because we wouldn't be here today without you.
A time to reflect, revive, and renew. Your Belize City Council invites you to an unforgettable free 2-day Holy Week revival concert. Backed by powerful demand, the return of award-winning songwriter and worship leader, Sinach. Live in concert, bringing healing, hope, and encouragement through worship. Join us Tuesday, March 31st, 2026 and Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at DigiPark on Newtown Barracks. And that's not all. Joining us for the first time is award-winning Christian reggae band Christafari. Also featuring powerful performances from our local gospel ministries and more. Do not miss worship, Centro Visión Misionero, Kings Park Church of the Nazarene Worship Team, live music from Life Church, Heavenlies, Wabagari Dance Group, and Alexander Evans on steel pan. Special thanks to all our partners whose support helps make this revival possible. So, bring your entire family and experience this powerful 2-day Holy Week revival concert in Belize City. Tuesday, March 31st and Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 at DigiPark on Newtown Barracks. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. With all the talk about Belize considering the continuation of its Cuban Medical Brigade, we headed to the Belize Archives and Record Service to research its history. We only pursued the Reporter newspaper as only those were cataloged. The mandala is available but only in hard copy. According to the reports in that paper, the first cohort of 20 Cuban medical doctors arrived in Belize almost 27 years ago on May 1, 1999. They were deployed on April 27, 1999 to 15 communities across the country, mostly rural areas. The commitment was that by the end of the year, a total of 50 Cuban doctors would be serving the people of Belize. At the end of July 1999, the then Minister of Health, Servula Baeza, visited Havana and formally signed a bilateral agreement with President Fidel Castro for healthcare, scholarships, and technical assistance. The reporter noted, quote, under the agreement, the government of Cuba agreed to provide the skill and manpower to improve medical care in Belize, to provide scholarships for graduate and postgraduate medical work, and to send consultants to Belize to assist the Ministry of Health, end quote. When the Medical and Dental Association issued a statement saying the Cuban doctors required licensing, the report was that only a handful of 60 members shared the concern. Others acknowledged that the number of doctors practicing in Belize at the time were limited and most would not take the time out, quote, to go into the rural communities to practice, end quote. Dr. Atanasio Cobb told the reporter at the time, quote, we cannot complain when somebody else provides a valuable service which we ourselves might not be able to provide, end quote. The following year, on May 7, 2000, 36 of 76 nurses arrived for a 3-year assignment. They were accompanied by 6 more doctors. In 2004, the KHMH celebrated 5 years of the medical cooperation between the two countries. The reporter informed that shared relations, quote, resulted in several hundreds of doctors and nurses giving their services to Belize at Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital, end quote. At the 5-year anniversary of the program, there were 72 Cuban doctors in Belize, along with 32 nurses, 2 technicians, and 3 engineers. Belize health officials indicated that in 5 years of service to 98% of Belize's rural communities, the Cuban Medical Brigade had assisted 988,834 patients. In 2007, the Cuban Medical Brigade in Belize had grown to 115 members, and it was revealed then that they were providing service to 54% of the population. The brigade comprised volunteers trained in preventative medicine on a 2-year stay. The paper reported that Cuba offered the volunteers, quote, a salary, a foreign currency bank account, and added financial bonus that runs throughout their stay abroad, end quote. The government of Belize covers a stipend, accommodation, and basic utilities for the volunteers. Today, we asked the Prime Minister to respond to a claim by the leader of the opposition that the Americans threatened visa sanctions over the medical brigade.
Well, as I said, the foreign minister, I think, went at length to give you an explanation, and it remains the same. And I think the Minister of Health said the same. I mean, it's, as I said, delicate negotiations, and we're in contact with the Cuban government and the Cuban brigade. And I know when we meet with the Americans, they also bring to our attention, their concerns about it. So I'm hoping that we can work out something more sooner than later.
So last thing, Panton said that the Americans threatened GOB with visa sanctions over the Cuban brigade.
Well, let's leave it as that. Now when the time comes, but we have seen what has happened in other islands.
Someone said an announcement would be made by Thursday.
No, there's no such thing.
Cartel operatives demanding extortion payments disrupted the flow of cargo from Mexico into Belize since last week. It has led to losses for those transporting perishable items, and other importers also cancel orders due to the blockade. There were fears the disruption could last until the Easter, but the Prime Minister today indicated that they have reached a temporary agreement. However, he acknowledged that things are fluid and reminded that this has happened before.
Well, we're very grateful that it has opened, and I'm very concerned. We've been dealing this at the highest level. We've been dealing directly with the government, but also I have direct contact with the office of the president to be able to address these things. Because sometimes in the bureaucracy, things get stuck there. It does not move fast enough. A few months ago, I had sent Ambassador Oliver Del Cid, along with Ambassador Oscar Aldo, to meet with Lázaro Cárdenas, who is the chief of staff in the president's office, for them to be able to give him a first-hand view of what really is taking place at the border. When in bureaucracies we give a report and it goes up the channel, it's always been sanitized that by the time it gets to the highest channels, probably you do not get a full understanding of what really is happening. And so, for me, it was important for us to be able to get directly to the president. That's when they sent in, I think about 10,000 troops came in, federal and state, and they went and they managed to go after a lot of these people. Of course, as soon as they left, and these guys come back again. We have been talking again to the officials at the border, and we felt that we're not getting anywhere, and so we again sent a message directly to the president's office a few days ago. So I'm happy to note that this has been cleared up. But I think that sooner or later I will probably have to try to see if I can have a meeting with the president to say that this matter is getting really out of control, and that they would probably see if I could urge them if they could put a prominent presence at the border to ensure that trade can be facilitated in and out of Mexico.
How is this impacting them to say that they should put the effort?
Well, remember, we are a drop in the bucket of the Mexican market, so it does not raise alarms immediately, because the amount of from within our economy, what we import is huge from Mexico. But from Mexico, the size of their economy, what we import from them is just, it's negligible. So it does not ring alarms immediately when it happens. And that is why we have to be dealing it more at a political level to ensure that we can address these issues quickly.
You're confident it will be addressed? Because obviously they have to take into consideration other demands on their military with the cartel, and I know they keep going after cartel leaders.
Yes, I know, and it's something that can't stop. And we just have to continue at it, and that whenever that comes up again, that we go again to hey, we have this issue here in this area. And that is why we have to be dealing it more at a political level to ensure that we can address these issues quickly.
You're confident it will be addressed? Because obviously they have to take into consideration other demands on their military with the cartel, and I know they keep going after cartel leaders.
Yes, I know, and it's something that can't stop. and that we just have to continue at it, and that whenever that comes up again, that we go again to the, hey, we have this issue here in this area.
There will be a public consultation scheduled for Wednesday, March 25 at the Best Western Plus Belize Biltmore Plaza on the proposed $900 million Belize dollars cargo and cruise expansion project at the Port of Belize by the Government of Belize. Yaya Marin Coleman, the chairperson of the UBAD Educational Foundation, has been championing the fight to have proper public engagement. She's calling for the National Environmental Appraisal Committee to hold a public hearing instead, which, unlike a public consultation, is focused on the sentiments of those living near the development as they would be most impacted.
Hybrid, that means you could be in person or you could join by Zoom. Now, I think that have limitations, the hybrid. You have until April 1st to make the Department of Environment know what their position on this proposed $900 million Belize dollars cargo and cruise expansion at the Port of Belize by the Government of Belize. The Department of Environment, which is a department under the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, the Minister Orlando Habet, then guided by the Environmental Act, will tell them what to do. And then you could also have statutory instrument regulations to make amendment to the Act. Now, based on that Act and the SI regulations, UEF, the National Environmental Appraisal Committee, which is a group of about 16 government workers and some two non-governmental organization representatives, will review the environmental impact assessment report where one developer gave for seek environmental clearance for have one development. The environmental clearance could be approved, denied, or approved with limitations. UEF appeal to NEAC members for making a recommendation to the Department of the Environment for have one public hearing, and only then could trigger it, which is very different from a public consultation when it happened Wednesday night. The public consultation, they want two-way flow of communication between the developer, and the developer want to build a development, so that then the pitch for that, and government representatives. The last two times when they had EIAs for proposals, when the Port of Belize under private developer, those EIAs were denied for a number of reasons. But both times they get denied. One of the reasons is because they never have adequate public consultation. And UEF been instrumental in leading that, and so that was a win for the people. This time around, the developer is the Government of Belize, and so I personally feel like there are conflict of interest. The NEAC members are employees of the Government of Belize and are therefore make the recommendation if this should go ahead or not. But that's just my 2 cents.
Port of Belize is to make its presentation on the project's Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA, submitted to the NEAC for approval. On Friday, Anthony Mai, the Chief Environmental Officer, was a guest on the WUB Morning Vibe show, and he explained what type of information is presented in the EIA.
It also takes into consideration some social and cumulative impacts. It includes project alternatives, and very importantly, there is an inclusion of what is called a no action alternative. And what that is that the EIA report presents what would be the state of the environment if no development happened, and then if the development happens, what would be the impacts. That's important because you could compare and you could actually measure the level of impact that the project will have. It also identifies all the potential negative environmental impacts of a project, and this is the core of the EIA process, right? It provides the Department of Environment with the information that we need in relation to how the project will affect the environment negatively. And it also includes mitigation measures for those impacts, and it also includes a monitoring plan. So after the project, if the project is cleared, what all do we need to monitor to ensure that we could detect any change that is being caused to the environment by the development?
Marin Coleman urged Belizeans, especially those living near the development, to educate themselves on the project and potential impacts and have their voices heard.
important that Belizean people understand that we, the people, have to talk enough for our own interests. My experience working with Latanya Gonges Polino, a known community organizer in the Jane Usher community, she said the people, they don't know about this proposed development. They don't know enough about it to make one informed decision because the government believes the developer never do any meaningful awareness campaign over an extended period of time in a ways where people could understand it. What they do, they meet with the area representative. And for me, again, that's a conflict of interest because that somebody were upon this administration political party. That's then a raised red flag for me. Secondly, you have also to hold the state accountable for violating the regional agreement known as the Escazú Agreement, will give access rights to access to information, public participation, and justice in environmental matters in Latin America and the Caribbean. So I know it's a lot, but I ask Belizean people, again, only organized people want to save the people. We have one interest. If this development go through, for example, they want to tell you people want to get jobs, but there's nothing in a black and white will say what are the requirement for get jobs, what kind of jobs, how long you have the jobs, how much the jobs they want to pay, if that include any benefits like insurance benefits. There's serious health concerns as it relates to noise pollution, as it relates to dust. When they start to drive big pile, if your house start to shake and broke up, there's no space where you have the meaningful concerns being addressed in a respectful way and get to a meaningful response back in a writing. Cuss, holler, scream, now I work. And I have to talk to myself so tomorrow when I go there, I control my emotions so that I could be effective in representing the people I represent. I'm not always able to do it. I want to pray for me. I want to send positive vibrations my way that I could represent we in the best possible way.
Today, we also asked the Prime Minister if the government has assessed if the government, as owner of Port of Belize Limited, has the support of environmental NGOs which had expressed multiple concerns about the expansion project back in 2022 and 23 when the company was under different ownership.
Well, I don't think that is for something for me to try to get involved with. We want it to go through its process. I do believe we have the support. We've addressed the issues or the people at the port. In the NIAC, they have addressed the issues to avoid as much as possible any of the siltation to go towards the reef. But like in everything, if you build a house, you change the environment. You just have to try to see how you try to contain that. And that's what we've done. This time around, what we're doing is that all of the excess dredging material, we want to build what we call mangrove islands. So once we put those mangrove islands, these mounds we plant in mangroves, once it grows, that whole area will create a new ecosystem. And they're going to be full of marine life and birds. And so that in itself could be a tourist area that the cruise ship passengers can, in a kayak, go around these areas and look at the marine life and also the birds and so forth that we have on land.
After the break, PM says they can't assist only the BSCFA as other groups complain. Stay with us.
El rotavirus es una de las principales causas de diarrea acuosa severa y vómitos en niños. Puede causar deshidratación severa y hospitalizaciones. La buena noticia es que la vacuna contra el rotavirus ya está disponible. Se administra por gotas orales a los 2, 4 y 6 meses de edad. Protege tu bebé. Visite hoy su centro de salud más cercano.
Running a business in Belize and getting an international order? Shipping your products abroad is simple with the Belize Postal Service. To quickly confirm the order, you can fill out your customs declaration right from the comfort of your home. To access the declaration form online, please visit the following websites. Simply enter your item in the CDS web kiosk to instantly see the landed cost, duties, taxes, and fees. Postage rates can be checked on your rate sheets. Share the landed cost with your customer and finalize the sale in minutes. Once the sale is confirmed, the system generates your declaration identification number, your key to a smooth and fast drop-off. And if you don't have internet access, you can always visit any of our post offices for assistance. Bring your unsealed package and declaration ID to any Belize Postal Service location. Our clerks will verify your items, seal your package, and prepare your declaration, quick and simple. It's fast, simple, reliable. The Belize Postal Service, connecting your business to the world.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult, in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP, 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
Is that all?
This is everything.
sea una persona ocupada o atrapada en el tráfico, o que tenga una circunstancia adversa o muy exigente, la tensión se acumula y lo estresa. El estrés ataca a todos en cualquier momento, a cualquier edad. El estrés es un asesino. Es mejor estar vivo que muerto, así que visite la farmacia de Freetown para obtener opciones.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué puedo hacer para usted hoy?
Estoy bien estresado.
Ok, tengo una pastilla que le va a ayudar, ¿ok? Que toma una de eso al día para 10 días y va a estar bien después, ¿sabes?
Ok. Farmacia Freetown, carretera 28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
Our Belize City is growing because of continued investment. From rehabilitated streets to expanding neighborhoods, significant investments are improving how our city functions and how our communities live. In the last 2 years alone, more than 250 streets have been rehabilitated, representing almost $34 million invested directly in physical infrastructure that improves access and quality of life. At the same time, the city continues to expand. Developments such as the Holy Emmanuel area, also known as Gungulung, reflect increased demand for land and housing as Belize City expands in a more sustainable and resilient way. These planned developments support safer communities and long-term sustainability, contributing to rising property values across the city. Under the Town's Property Evaluation Act, property values are required to be reviewed every 5 years. The last valuation adjustment was done in 2013. This adjustment simply brings property values closer to today's market reality, while the tax rate itself remains unchanged. Let's break it down. For a vacant property valued at $25,000, we charged an annual 2% rate, which works out to a payment of $500. Under the new assessment, the property value has appreciated by 40%, making the property now worth $35,000. Therefore, the new amount to be paid will be 2% of $35,000, which works out to $700. For an occupied property valued at $25,000, we charged an annual 10% rate, which works out to $2,500. Under the new assessment, the property's value has appreciated by 18%, making the property now worth $29,500. Therefore, the new amount to be paid will be 10% of $29,500, which works out to $2,950. To support property owners, your Belize City Council is encouraging residents to take advantage of the ongoing property tax prepayment incentives. Property owners receive 15% off in January, 10% off in February, and 5% in March. And senior citizens receive a 35% discount year-round. Remember, this adjustment represents an appreciation in your property's worth, not a change in tax rates, ensuring continued investment in your city while providing valuable data for informing investors, municipal bondholders, and individual credit assessments. And we want residents to know the law provides a clear mechanism for review and appeal if needed. Those who believe their valuation does not fairly reflect their property have the right to engage the Belize City Valuation Appeals Board. Your Belize City Council remains committed to openness, accountability, and ensuring that growth is managed fairly for everyone. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Speaking about the vote of the membership of the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association to reject fertilizer and cash flow support from the government, conditional on dropping their fair trade premium lawsuit against BSI and Tate and Lyle, the Prime Minister today stated that they have to be mindful of how they assist the BSCFA as other groups complain when they don't receive similar assistance.
disappointed at the vote of the BSEFA membership?
Not necessarily. I think, as I said earlier, it's a decision. It's a decision that they have to make. All I was hoping is how we can try to bring this to an end. And if they feel that they want to continue with that, then that's on them. The problem is that what we have as a cabinet, that we can't continue bailing out the BSEFA. They have come several times for us to bail them out, and we have done so because they play an important role in the sugar industry. But whenever we do that, colleagues then start to tell us, well, how about tour operators, and how about the fisher folks, how about these people that have to buy more boats or down south, the people in agriculture down south, the cacao people. They are always reminding me during the fires, a lot of small cacao farmers lost their produce, and we did not manage to give them the help that they needed. So it creates a sense of frustration and jealousy within cabinet. And I don't know for how long I'll be able to do that, because then the rest of us say, hold on, before you do that, we also have to give to the other areas. And I also like to make the point that whenever the government gives monies to one association, the other associations are saying, well, we are also taxpayers, so we also deserve a part of that money. So I was trying to see how we could find a way out to put an end to this, but if they feel that they want to continue with the case, that's fully their right.
Will the fertilizer still be provided?
I'm sorry?
Will the fertilizer still be provided?
Well, the support now, because of this case, I think we will probably provide the support, but then we'll have to share it between the four associations.
While discussing the disruption of the transboundary trade between Mexico and Belize, Prime Minister John Briceño reiterated that Belize must continue engaging the Americans for more assistance. But we asked if it is reasonable to expect any assistance, since he had already spoken to the Secretary of State about it toward the end of February.
And also, we have to continue to engage the American government. I remember way back when I became Prime Minister in 2020. At my first meeting with the people at the officials at the U.S. Embassy, the question to me was, what is it that keeps you awake at night? And I told them the cartels, because we cannot afford to get them into this country, because the minute they get in, it will be very difficult to get them out. So we've been appealing to them to help us, and I hope that pretty soon they'll be able to give us. They've been giving some help, but we need some serious help with equipment, with intelligence, with transportation, mobility, to be able to move from the north to the south, in a very short time. And so that is the real help that we need. And also probably the Americans can help put pressure on the Mexican, with the Mexican government to say that, whilst you're looking at the north, you have to ensure that you could keep the south clear from these people, because once they get in, it's difficult to get them out.
But PM, how do you see the U.S. actually listening to Belize's request? Because you've had the ear of Mr. Rubio already, even though brief, but I imagine you were able to outline clearly what our difficulties are.
Well, it's a huge bureaucracy that by the time it gets all the way down, they're not given that urgency. And we need to recognize that the U.S. have some serious issues that they're dealing with at this moment. For instance, Iran, the war out in Iran and the Middle East, and it's spreading. And unfortunately, it's small countries like Belize will have to pay the price. So we just have to continue at it and can't give up, and to keep, whenever we meet, to repeat to them the challenge that we face and that we need their help.
Ahead of the proposed major $900 million cargo and cruise expansion project at the Port of Belize, many of the residents of Port Loyola, who stand to be most impacted by the construction, know very little about the project. While holding a public consultation on Wednesday is a step in the right direction, Yaya Marin Coleman, the chairperson of UEF, said it's not the most convenient location nor time and day for the community members of Port Loyola to attend. Still, she urged residents to get informed and have their voices heard.
I just went into the community yesterday, because they contact me and tell me, as of Saturday morning, they start to have one large clearance of bush from the left side of Jane Usher Boulevard, where the sidewalk there, since Saturday morning. So I rushed down there yesterday evening, and I interviewed 6 people randomly, And well, one of them was the community organizer where UEF they work with since January 2020. And they said they don't know why the clearance happened. They say that they want to put vendor booths like they have for Mahogany Street. But again, it's showing total disrespect of just doing something in our community with no evidence that they had an awareness campaign, so that when they ask people and thoughts for any action in their communities, that their response could be a knowledgeable or informed response. The consultation is Wednesday, and Saturday morning they start to clear the area. It's extremely dishonoring and disrespectful for come in our community with no awareness, knowledge campaign, so people have knowledge about where one propose, even if it could be positive. There's no space where people could, and you have adequate time, lot of time, where people could have face-to-face, follow up with questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, and mechanisms if uno violate after uno go through with this process. And I mean mechanisms when I take one whole long time for justice to be served. Like we don't got time for go find no attorney, get lost up in the justice systems. One mechanism, because that's the way the Escaso agreement say, you have to have one instrument where people could use in a real time for get justice if one violation happen in any environmental decision making process. And so this is a serious red flag, and people are divided along the lines of being faithful voters to a political party, or the fact that they want to give us some job and we need job.
On Monday, Marin Coleman visited Port Loyola and asked community members if they were aware of the proposed port expansion or a recent clearing in the area that began on Saturday. Most admitted not being well informed.
No, we don't know anything about it, but you know the rumors run about. I heard that they want to put some booths there for make people sell, no? That the cruise thing want open soon.
I just get to find out like a week ago that they're supposed to want to push the one port and cruise cargo port in this vicinity. You know, I know previously they had two different similar projects what they might want to push through, and the project they may get denied. But when it comes to this third project, we don't know nothing about it in this community.
I started to see this Saturday morning, coming to Sunday.
And you know here nobody in the community to talk about it, nobody know what happened?
Nothing.
Thanks for answering the question.
I'm just glad that they do it, but I will still not nothing what are the reason they do this.
But right now I know they want to do all of them land right now for people needing now.
Marin Coleman also called out members of environmental NGOs who have been silent on this particular project, as opposed to 2022 when they raised concerns when the company then in receivership had proposed an expansion project. She said that this project wouldn't just affect residents of Port Loyola, but also stevedores and fishers.
UEF, they ring the bell, and we the holler for environmental NGOs in particular, because for this particular project, you could hear the deafening silence. The last two times, you hear one robust community engagement from environmental NGOs, for example, from FECTAB, who organized, forget about 22,000 signatures. This time around, the organizer told me yesterday, Zing Fence Media, that the only media house would bring this kind of attention on this community concern and to be consistent about it. The silence of the environmental NGOs, and I call them out publicly, because this time one of the points when I met to the Prime Minister in a letter what I sent to her regarding the cargo and cruise expansion project, that there needs to be a revision of all the laws in Belize by a legal independent expert to ensure that Belizean people are empowered to participate in a processes like proposed development in our natural resource management. And I'm also calling all them people who are gone that a stakeholder meeting where UEF protest in a 2024 at San Ignacio. All them people are going to participate in the so-called roadmap for the implementation and action plan for the Escaso agreement. Union members, church members, All I want to we're gonna take a picture. We want to know. So I for wait until tomorrow night for see if you show up. On sending any letter. In the absence of another upon a public record, we don't expect we to think that we the OCHA by ourselves, they advocate primarily for working class people. All Belizeans, including those in the diaspora, especially vulnerable working class communities nearest to the port of Belize, inclusive of stevedores and fishers.
One of the leading NGOs behind the advocacy back then said they are working on a position. Coleman Marin said that she would like for this proposed project to be viewed the way the proposed acquisition of SMART by BTL is viewed. A few cabinet ministers, notable Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Cordell Hyde, has gone on record stating that the public's input should matter. We reached out to the DPM to inquire if he has the same sentiment towards this project, but he has not responded as of news time. After the break, elderly woman escapes attempted rape in Lord's Bank. Stay tuned.
Rotavirus is a leading cause of severe watery diarrhea and vomiting in young children. It can lead to dangerous dehydration and hospital visits. The good news? The rotavirus vaccine is now available countrywide. It is given in drops at 2, 4, and 6 months of age. Protect your child. Visit your nearest health clinic today.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart. Stay connected. Stay happy.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Marlon Castillo Quality Meats. For the best in beef and pork, check them out at Booth 39 at the Michael Finnegan Market. Call 614-2255. Marlon Castillo Quality Meats open Monday to Saturday 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sundays 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Booth number 39 Michael Finnegan Market. Last gate, first meat shop at the back. Check them out on Facebook at Marlon Castillo Quality Meats. Stop in today.
For any project, big or small, Best Screws provide strength, efficiency, durability, and affordability. Get the screws specifically designed for your next project. Get Best Screw, the power to build, the strength to last. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP, 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
While 501 is an effort to catalog and digitize more than 30 years of Carol and Richard Foster's extraordinary wildlife footage, a visual record of Belize's wild heart that has been shared with the world through platforms like BBC and National Geographic. This exhibition brings that work to life through new short wildlife films that Carol has been working on over the past few months. Curated photographs that capture the iconic Foster perspective, and hundreds of archival recordings that are now being preserved and made accessible for the first time.
But while 501 is more than just an exhibition or a gallery of pretty pictures, it is a living, breathing archive. It is a monumental effort to catalog, digitize, and preserve a cinematic history that belongs to all of us. The Fosters didn't just come here to film Belize. They chose to be Belize. They made this wild landscape their home and their life's mission. As award-winning filmmakers for giants like the BBC and National Geographic, they acted as our global ambassadors.
I knew I had to do something, and I wanted to do something, and I was looking through all my slides and looking through and I've been doing this for like more than a year, trying to get everything in, from past to present to future. I know that was my intentions of giving back to Belize.
The government of Belize officially ratified the Escazú Agreement on March 7, 2023. It is a regional agreement for Latin America and the Caribbean that protects people's rights to environmental information, public involvement in decision-making, and environmental justice. Despite being ratified, there has been no agreement on the roadmap leading to implementation. It's been a fight championed by Yaya Marin Coleman, the chairperson of the UBAD Educational Foundation. Today, she said that she received an update from Anthony Mai, the Chief Environmental Officer.
You have to ring the bell, and we the holla for environmental NGOs in particular, because for this particular project, you could hear the deafening silence. The last two times, you hear one robust community engagement from environmental NGOs, for example, from FECTAB, who organized, forget about 22,000 signatures. This time around, the organizer told me yesterday, Zing Fence Media, that the only media house would bring this kind of attention upon this community concern and to be consistent about it. The silence of the environmental NGOs, and I calling out publicly, because this time one of the points when I met to the Prime Minister in a letter what I sent to her regarding the cargo and cruise expansion project, that there needs to be a revision of all the laws in Belize by a legal independent expert to ensure that Belizean people are empowered to participate in processes like proposed development in our natural resource management. And I'm also calling all them people who are gone that a stakeholder meeting where you have protest in a 2024 at San Ignacio. All them people who are going to participate in the so-called roadmap for the implementation and action plan for the Escazú Agreement, union members, church members, all I want to go take a picture. One of them know. So I have to wait until tomorrow night for see if you show up. On sending any letter. In the absence of another upon a public record, we don't expect we to think that we the OCHA by ourselves, the advocate primarily for working class people, all Belizeans, including those in the diaspora, especially vulnerable working class communities nearest to the port of Belize, inclusive of stevedores and fisher.
A body was found in the Mopan River earlier today near San Jose Socot, Cayo. Authorities believe that the body is that of 35-year-old Hector Mejia, who is also known as El Buye, who was reported missing since Sunday. According to reports, he was last seen with a person from Benque Viejo del Carmen. Police investigation continues. And a 76-year-old woman narrowly escaped being raped on Monday night in Lords Bank Police District. The woman reported to police that she had just gotten off a bus near the entrance to the Green Estate area, after which she walked about half a mile to collect super seeds to cook and sell. She said that shortly after she was approached from behind by a man who sexually assaulted her. She alleged that he then pulled out a gun, pushed her into nearby bushes, and attempted to rape her, but she fought back. He eventually gave up and fled the scene on a bicycle, but not before stealing 2 cell phones and $25 in cash. The woman received injuries to her face, which medical personnel at the Ladyville Health Center later classified as wounding. She was treated and released from the health center. Police are investigating. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeats can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.